match because I predict these things.
Mingyang Zhang takes on Johnny Walker this Saturday as the main event of UFC Fight Night Shanghai. And this is a good fight. You know, both these guys are very exciting. Like to keep it on the feet and, you know, and throw hands. So I think this is going to be a good matchup. Going to be a fun main event. Mingyang Zhang, young up and comer, taking up a pretty decent step up in competition against Johnny Walker, who's got a lot of high level experience. So I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to be a good scrap for the main event. Mingyang Zhang, 26 years old. He's 6'2" with a 75-inch reach and 19-6 in his career. Currently riding, I believe, a 12-fight winning streak it is. So he's going to be, you know, smaller in terms of frame, going to be the shorter guy. Johnny Walker is 6'6" with an 82-inch reach. So he's going to be 4 inches shorter than Johnny Walker and give up 7 inches in reach, which is, you know, pretty substantial considering Johnny Walker's a pretty dynamic striker. But, you know, Mingyang Zhang, also a very good striker, really good counters. He's one of those guys who's willing to take a shot to land one, kind of stands in the pocket and trades. He trusts his chin over his opponents, and you can tell that when he's throwing, he feels like he can take what you're dishing out, and doesn't think that you're gonna be able to kind of take what he's firing back at you. But he fights well on the back foot, good at countering, also very good at, you know, pushing forward first. Has really heavy leg kicks, really big legs, controls the cage very well, cornering his opponents, kind of cutting them off, taking angles, and like I said, very tough dude, great chin. Not sure how long that'll last, the way that he kind of eats shots at 205. Has been KO'd a few times, but that was, I think it was like 6 years ago. He's got 6 losses, but a lot of those were early in his career, you know, almost 9 years ago when this guy was, you know, 16, 17 years old. So been submitted twice, so he can be finished, but as of late, he's looked really good. A lot of variation of KOs, got some submissions in there as well. And, you know, his regional record's kind of suspect. Hasn't really fought the best guys in the world, but the guys that he is fighting in the UFC, he's absolutely dominating and putting on a very impressive performances against them. So Johnny Walker, 33, like I said, going to be the bigger guy, rangier guy, coming off of 2 KOs back to back. Was KO'd by Volkan Ozdemir back in June of last year, and then Magomed Ankalaev before that in January 2024. You know, very explosive, very athletic, entertaining. Good kicks, you know, can be a little crazy at times with wild techniques, flying knees, things like that. There's a lot of teep kicks to keep the range. Has really heavy leg kicks, so very athletic, very explosive and powerful. So I expect this one to end in knockout, and I think it's going to be Mingyang Zhang. You know, I trust Mingyang Zhang's chin at this point in both of their careers over Johnny Walker, and I think this will be a firefight back and forth. And Johnny Walker, you know, just in his last 2 fights, he's been KO'd pretty badly. You look back through his career, KO'd by Jamal Hill, KO'd by Corey Anderson back in the day. He had an awful 18-second fight against Enrique Silva back in 2016 where he was like KO'd like 4 times in the span of 18 seconds. It's probably one of the funniest fights you'll ever see, but also not good for the longevity of a cage fighter. And I just don't think Johnny Walker's going to have the grit and the tenacity to take the strikes that I know Mingyang Zhang is going to bring, and that he's going to be landing on them. You know, maybe Walker hurts Zhang at some point in the fight, but I think in the madness, in the exchanges, and just the firefight of this fight, I expect Zhang to come out on top. You know, be the one to be able to bite down, take the shots, and get the KO. I just don't think Walker has the toughness or the chin at this point, especially coming off of the 2 KOs, and also it's been about 14 months since he'll have been in the octagon, coming off of 2 KOs. I just don't think he has what it takes to beat Zhang. I don't think his chin is going to be able to hold up to somebody as technical and powerful as Mingyang Zhang. You know, I can see Walker getting back straight up, you know, chin high. He was backed up at the cage and was taking strikes by Ozdemir. Back in the day, it was Ozdemir pushing forward, putting a lot of pressure on him, throwing a lot of volume out there, and finally catching him and kind of getting him hurt and getting him out of there. And I kind of see that being the pathway that Mingyang Zhang is going to take in this one. You know, Walker likes to fight on the back foot at times, and Mingyang Zhang fights well going forward and being the aggressor. So I'm going to go with Mingyang Zhang in this one. I think he's just the overall better striker. He is going to have a reach disadvantage in this one, which is concerning, but I think he'll be able to use his footwork and his speed to kind of negate that advantage that Walker has. He also has the home field advantage, so I feel like the deck is kind of stacked against Johnny Walker in this one, coming off of 2 KO losses, already being kind of chinny, taking some damage in the UFC, a lot of damage in the UFC, having to go over to China to take this fight, been out for 14 months, kind of a stylistic nightmare, honestly, for him and Mingyang Zhang. So I'm going to go with Mingyang Zhang to get this one done. I think he can get the KO round 2 or 3. Thanks.